Now, again, I'd love you to have a think about the people that you're trying to reach. So the people that you want to reach in social media. And I will I'll send a handout so you can jot down some ideas about this person and build a bit of a persona of them, so you can get in your mind who they are. But right now, I'd love you just to write down what's the problem or the pain point that your potential customer might have, and what's their motivation for coming to you. For instance, for me, a client of ours, their problem might be that, well, they don't know how to use social media very well, or they want to reach more people and get more customers via social media. And the motivation, well, they'll come to us because we know what we're doing with social media, and we've got case studies that show them that we're great at doing this. The same goes for Tupre and John. The problem is he wants his pain point is he wants to leave a really great impression behind for his clients. He really wants a great job done. He wants to fill the wall, paint it, and leave, and there'll be no problems afterwards. The motivation for coming to Tupre would be that they've got a great quality product that loads of other painters and decorators really love, and you're not going to have a problem after it's been used. And so this kind of work, thinking about this again, helps you to begin to think about the type of content that could work for your for your audiences. Now, again, if you want to throw into the chat what your pain points and motivations might be, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. But I would really, really encourage you to, again, spend some time thinking about this, because this will help direct what you need to be doing. And it will definitely help you develop a better social media strategy. So, any questions about the audience side of things in the chat before we move on to the psychology of social media and how to grab attention? Could you share to us about what is the target audience Social Firefly initially target to, and how do you pivot to the current audience? Is there anything that surprises you most along the way? Oh, that's really interesting. It's interesting. We've been running for 7 years, our business, and we came from public sector and charities. That's where our previous careers were. Myself and my co-founder Mel. So our first clients, we didn't have any, because public sector didn't. They weren't going to hire us. No one else was going to hire us really. And our first proper client came from me doing a workshop like this, actually. I did it for free in a co-working space in Brighton. And by the end of it, a education business asked if we would be interested in actually running it for them, running their social media. So we started with a slightly different product, with training, and we were trying to gain momentum there. And from that, we found that people wanted to hire us and do it for them, which is what we wanted as well. So social media actually for us wasn't the big thing to grow our business, because guess what? People who hire us don't use social media very well, and we're not going to reach them. So we really thought about our audiences. We were going to find our audiences somewhere in social media. Sorry, somewhere outside of social media. So yeah, offline workshops are really powerful. So online ones sometimes. But what it is it's about reputation as well. So over the years, as we've grown our business, we have got better recommendations from people who already know we're great, And it's about building relationships. We are finding that our social media is now beginning to encourage more people to come and work with us. But for us, it really is about people telling people how good we are. And that works in digital marketing as well. So if you can find a good first few customers who you do great work for, and then you can use them as reviews on Google and as case studies on Instagram, that's where you're going to begin to build relationships and begin to get more clients from that. Um, and a lot of what we do as well is networking. So again, I would really say that social media and digital marketing is only one part of what you should be doing for your overall business growth. Networking and actually building relationships with other businesses and other people is the important thing. You cannot do it entirely alone, and I think that is something you really need to think about, is mixing the digital world with the kind of real life world as well. I hope that helps. So we'll go into the psychology of social media now. So to recap, we know what we want to achieve. We know what our objectives are. We know who we want to reach. We've thought about who we should be reaching. And now we've got to work out, well, how do we get them to stop and actually engage with what we're doing on social media? How do we get them to stop, like, share, comment, right? So everyone's got to pay attention for this bit. So, because I'm going to have to ask, you're all going to have to add something into the chat in a second. So this slide will go 3, 2, 1, and then loads of images will pop up on the slide. You tell me what image you saw first. Just put it into the chat. What image did you see first? Okay, we've got spider, we've got shoe, we've got boat. What have we got? Hat, book and shoe, spider, spider. Okay, so right, great. You've kind of proved my point here. There's more spiders than anything else, which is good. Some people see the spider first. Some people see the glove. So someone else has said glove as well. The glove is, I think it looks a bit like a spider because it's like that, and it's bright green as well. And I'll tell you why both of those things are important. So yes, there was a boat. There was a spider. Sometimes people say they see the house, but there wasn't a house. So we see the spider because our modern skulls house Stone Age brains. Anyone who didn't see a spider or green glove, you might be more evolved than the rest of us. You might just be more evolved than the rest of us. The rest of us are still kind of cavemen at heart. The reason we see the spider before anything else, or the bright green glove, is because it could hurt us. So a spider is likely to be poisonous, for instance. Bright colours in nature tend to be a warning sign. So think of a red dot on a black widow spider. Think about a green and yellow frog, which is poisonous. Think about a bright green snake. All of those things might harm us. Now, I'm not saying you should be putting spiders and snakes on all of your social media. What I am saying is you should be thinking about things that grab attention that are out of the ordinary, because we have to see that first because it might hurt us, or bright colors, because both of those things are really important for grabbing attention. These are 3 examples here. We've got an example over on the right, which is a bright orange. I've also got a question there that grabs attention. In the middle, we've got something from the Brighton Early Music Festival that we did, and it's just a video about just going around Brighton, and it's really quick. It's like loads of different background shots. It grabs attention because it's colourful and it's kind of out of the ordinary. And then if I click play, this should play for me. That was a meme for Two Pray that we did with Beyonce just looking around, and there's some bright green colours in the background, but it's also really out of the ordinary for Two Pray, who's a filler brand, to share that. So the way to grab attention is humour, fear, anger, bright colours. So it's emotion and it's bright colours that grabs attention when people are scrolling through social media. The next thing is, got to go back. Sorry, before I move on to the next thing, colours are really important. I could spend a whole day talking about colours. So a bright colour will grab attention, but it's really worth thinking about what people feel when they see these colours. They've changed throughout time, but in the Western world, this is generally what people feel when they see these colours and what they mean to people. So there's a reason the Green Party is green and Coca-Cola is red. Those brands want people to feel something for them. This is a really simple way of kind of showing that. It's something just to think about. So we've got out of the ordinary. The next thing we have is baby schema. So baby schema is vulnerability. So in the same way, we have to see the bright colors or the out of the ordinary really quickly as we're scrolling through social media. We also have to see baby schema really quickly because it could be vulnerable and we've got to protect it. So it really works. This is why, babies and fluffy cats and dogs work on social media. Over on the left, you've got me and my brother when we were younger with a hedgehog cake there. That was for my birthday. That grabbed attention nicely. On the other side, we've got something from Vital Village in Surrey. Again, nice colour there that grabs attention, as well as the baby that helps. And in the middle here, that was Nigel. Go back. Sorry, I clicked too much. That was Nigel as well. So it's dogs, it's cats, it's babies. So the baby schema we have to see. So and finally, it's faces and people. And this is probably the easiest thing you can do on social media to grab people's attention. Over on the left, you've got something really simple from the Healthcare International group. It's just a photo of them all getting together. It's human, it's engaging, they're smiley, and it tells a story as well. There's a good quote there, and it tells a story. In the middle, got another one that tells a really nice story about the orchestra, Philharmonic Orchestra. Some really nice photography here of the players getting ready before going out and playing. And then over on the left here, we have got something from Social Firefly. It's a funny out of the ordinary thing, which grabs attention as well, but it's also people and faces, and there's a bit of emotion there. This was a trend where people were pretending that they've just got into university and you're just waiting for the results. And instead we said, we're checking to see whether the post has been approved after the 10th edit, because that's our main problem when it comes to clients. So I'll just play this. I think we're closing on. Could I knock in your door, baby? So I think that's quite a fun one. But people are more likely to remember a story centered around people and personal stories. So we're actually hardwired to see this shape, the eyes, the nose, the mouth. We're meant to talk to other human beings. That's why Skype exists. It's why Zoom exists and Google Meet and all of those. We're meant to talk to other human beings. So if you can try to create content that features real life within it and is engaging, then you're off to a winner. And while I'm talking about people and faces, people and faces here, emojis are also faces. They're meant to be a universal language. Now, these are two different social media ads that we ran. The only difference with these ones was we put emojis in the text. The one on the left had 145% more conversions than other text, and it got more people to actually purchase a TEFL course. The one on the right had 101% more landing page views. That's more people clicking onto the website. The only difference was the emojis. Now, emojis, one, like I said, they're kind of face shaped, so they grab attention, but there's also a bright color there that also grabs attention. You should definitely use them minimally. Don't use loads of them. But they can really help with grabbing attention. We've even done a bit of a study with some of our clients, and we found that if you're trying to direct someone to a link, a website link, if you use the arrow emoji, which is just an arrow, you will get less clicks than if you use a finger. So if you use the finger pointy emoji, you will get more clicks. And that's what we found anyway. And I think that's just because it's about humans. It's about real people. It looks human. Now, all of what I've just been talking about is a hook. So out of the ordinary content, baby schema content, or people and faces, that's a hook. It's the way that you grab people and pull them into your world, get them to stop scrolling and engage with you. This is an example of a hook, which is a video and a really eye-catching, I think, first sentence. An unforgettable afternoon at Brighton Dome. So the way we think about social media posts is hook. So what is the psychology that we're going to use to grab people's attention? Narrative, which is what story are we going to tell? And then a call to action or a question to grab attention and get somebody to do something for us. This specific post was all about engagement, really. We just said thank you to everyone who joined us. We didn't ask them to do anything for us. We just thanked them. So you think about using psychology to hook somebody in, you tell them a story, and then you give them some kind of call to action or something to do. I like to leave this on for a little bit to see if everyone actually notices. But this works really well. So earlier, Sarah asked about whether images or text only is better. In social media, you see the image or the video first. That's that big bit in the middle. You will see that first. And then you will go down to read the comments, or if you're on Instagram, you'll go down to read the post. If you're on Facebook, again, you'll go down to read the comments first, and then you'll go up to read what they've posted. So it's just really interesting to think, and it's just kind of a side note, really, to think about when you create content. Here's another example of how that looks. So a hook can be that bright color. So these bright colored pieces of photography, that's out of the ordinary stuff. On the left, we've also got an urgent, which again grabs attention. We've told a story, and then we've got a call to action. Now, we haven't got like loads of time to sit down and actually think about a post. Um, but from that, um, I think I think it's really worth you thinking about how you can develop social media posts um, using emotion, color, baby schema, or faces. Think of a hook. How do you grab people in? Think of a narrative. How do you tell a story? And think of a call to action. And if you can make it topical, all the better. I would suggest going away and really thinking about doing that. And you will get a handout which kind of talks you through the stages of doing this, um, which I think could be really, really useful. I've got another question. So you can just make a video of yourself like the one you did in your office. Yeah, I think that's the other thing. That's the other thing, Sarah, about social media content. Doesn't have to be all flashy. It really doesn't. Actually, it's better if it is just a quick piece of content that you create. People want your social media content to look authentic and feel real, and it doesn't have to be polished. Um, and another question we've got: how about faceless stories? Well, people are more likely to remember a story centered around human beings, and faces and real life stories grab attention. So that is one way to grab attention. So it depends on what you mean by a faceless story, really. There are ways to encourage people to come in and read a story. For instance, using color to grab attention as people are scrolling through the feed, even if it's with graphic design, um, that can work. But we do often find that having real life, having real photos of real human beings actually really works really well. People want to connect with other humans. Um, but yeah, I think we'd have to talk a bit more about what you mean specifically by a faceless story, and maybe when we get to the Q&A, you can explain a little bit more. Great. So finally, insights and analytics. So let's recap again. You think about your objectives. What do I want to achieve? You then go, who actually do I want to reach? And what channels are they spending their time on? And then you think about, well, what are their pain points? And what would motivate them to engage with us? That will help you begin to think about the content that you create. And as you begin to think about the content that you create, you've got to think, well, how do I hook them in? How do I grab their attention? What story do I tell? And how can how can I encourage them to do something? Once you know all of that, you should be looking at what's working for you. Every single social media platform has an analytics section. So you will get these slides afterwards, and there's a link directly to where you can find your Instagram business. I would suggest connecting your Instagram to your Facebook so that you can see what works. And in Meta Business Suite, you can see what's working for you and what's not. You can go and have a look at the content and say, if one of your objectives is to increase your link clicks, for instance, you can go to your content and you can find which content is encouraging link clicks. And so you know you need to create more of similar content. The same goes for any other metric. There is no point in being in these social media platforms and trying to engage with people if you are not looking to find out what works and then testing, learning, and optimizing. You can also find out what's working for your competitors to a certain extent. So also within Meta Business Suite, you will find benchmarking. And what you can do there is, one, you can understand if your content is performing better than other people in your specific category or industry. As an example, this one was a business that was a charity, basically. And you can see that their Instagram followers are generally higher than others. Their follows are generally higher, and their content interactions generally higher than others. So that means, oh, we're doing quite well then. You can also look at your competitors. You can build a list of them and see if they're growing faster or slower than you. And if they are growing faster than you and they're posting more than you, well, maybe you need to think about, what more could you do that they're doing? And you can get inspiration from these benchmarks, basically. Instagram Insights is really similar. These are screenshots of the phone, of where you find Instagram Insights on your phone. I prefer this to the desktop one, to the laptop, just because you get a bit more information here. But when you go to Insights, and if you've got a business Instagram account, you will see a little professional console. You click on that. You can see what's performing well. You can click on the content you've shared. And for instance, here you can see we've looked at the last 3 months, and we can see what type of content has engaged people the most. We can also see that we're reaching a lot of non-followers. And it's the posts that followers tend to engage with, but reels that non-followers tend to engage with. And it's really interesting just to see, are you actually reaching the age ranges you wanted to? Are you actually engaging the right type of people too? And finally, this is something that I try to talk about in every workshop. We should be trying to make social media as accessible as possible. I won't spend loads of time on each of these, but if you want people with hearing impairments, or people with visual impairments to engage with your social media content, then you should be doing these 4 things. So camel case hashtags, which basically mean capital letter at the beginning of every word so that a screen reader can read it. Captions on your videos. We actually found a stat the other day that said that 80% of people will just keep swiping if a video hasn't got captions on it. People want the captions on the video, because a lot of people watch videos with the sound off until they're interested, and then they'll click in and watch more. Alt text on your images. Alt text is basically telling a screen reader and the platforms as well, the social media platforms, what your image is. And that helps you to reach more people, basically, because it helps Instagram understand what you're trying to show people. And that really helps the algorithm. Then finally, using emojis sparingly. Every single emoji basically has alt text. So if I am visually impaired and I'm using a screen reader to read what the screen is doing or saying, if it finds an emoji, and say I've put 3 of these smiling cat emojis, it will read grinning cat face with smiling eyes, grinning cat face with smiling eyes, grinning cat face with smiling eyes. That's just annoying. It's not accessible. So limit your emojis to 2 or 3, we'd say. User-generated content is the thing you should be doing. If you've got a product that you're trying to sell, and you want more people to engage with it, you want people to realize, you want social proof, you want to kind of show that other people really enjoy your product, then user-generated content, that's content created by people who already engage with you, is just the best thing you can find. It works for everyone, but you should ask people. So this is just a point to make, that if you find somebody has posted on Instagram about your product or about your cafe or about anything you do, you need to ask them if you can use that content in your own social media. Employee generated content is just as good. So again, if you have a cafe, this is great. If you can get people to film things to grab attention and get people interested in what you do, then that's great. Trying to empower your colleagues or even yourself to create really simple content is a great way to build up the content you're doing. And it doesn't have to be expensive. This is how we do most of our social media content for Social Firefly. We've got a phone, we've got a mic that costs us £20 ish. And that's it. We create nice content that engages people. It's that simple. We were actually at the Brighton Philharmonic Orchestra yesterday, and we filmed loads of interviews with people about what they love about the orchestra. And all we did, phone, mic, that's all we needed. And I think people sometimes think that video content is too difficult. It really isn't. Once you get over being in front of the camera, it's actually not too difficult to actually do. I won't go through all this, but just to point out that these are the best ratios. Square actually is becoming less and less important. I would always go with middle two are the best sizes for your social media posts. But think about safe zones. If you've got anything that you want people to see clearly, try to keep it in kind of the middle square. Profile search engine optimization. I won't get too much into this, but you've got to think of social media as a website, and people will be searching for something to find you. So, for instance, with the Brighton Philharmonic Orchestra, people might be searching for Philharmonic. They might be searching for orchestra. They might even be searching for Brighton Dome, which is where they play. And by having all of those words within their profile, they're more findable. And that's what you've got to think about. Definitely use trending sounds. Trending sounds will help you reach more people on Instagram and TikTok are the main places that happens. There's a spreadsheet here of all of the sounds that a business account on Instagram and TikTok can use. But putting a trending sound behind a video that you've done can help you reach more people.
The 2024 season begins.
So that was a trending sound last year, and actually we used Canva, which can be free, to put together all those video clips, and it was really simple, really.
The 2000.
And I just mentioned Canva. There's a few kind of links here for things that will help you. Canva is free to a certain point. If any of you are a charity and not a business, you can actually get Canva for free. It's a really good graphic design website. You can also create videos in there. And there's some other things here which could be useful for you. Now, I'm glad we managed to keep it on time, and that means we still have 10 minutes for questions if anybody wants any more. Oh, Shirley's asked for what app do you use for adding subtitles? So actually, a lot of the time we like using Instagram's own subtitling captioning feature and TikTok's because one, TikTok and Instagram both want you to use their features. And the more you do that, the more you show that you care about their app. It helps send really great signals to the platform, really. So that's one thing we use. We also use Adobe Premiere. But I would say you don't need Adobe Premiere. You can use Instagram's own platform for it. It's much better to do that than to use a third party thing, because Instagram's got really good at it, and so's TikTok. So you, it's, yeah, much better to use their own platforms. Definitely. Any other questions?